Championship from Panama City. We are at the Sortis Hotel Spa and Casino for day 4 of the PokerStars Championship main event. 30 players remain. Today we will either play 4 levels or down to 16, with the caveat that we are aiming to play 3 full levels. We have got the yellow chips in play today. Those are the 25k chips to go with the blue 5ks and the red 1ks, the Balboas, the Atlases, and the Smaronas.
Unless you were a shareholder in a Finnish car company, what reason would you have to wear that hat? What conceivable reason?
I believe it's Czech.
Oh, is it Czech?
Well, originally it's now part of Volkswagen Group.
Okay. Well, whatever. You know, you get my point.
The irony is most of their cars are built on the same frame as Audis, so you actually get a really good car for a very cheap price.
I think Matt said on the Autobahn the car he was in was a Skoda.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, most Skodas are built. Obviously, the interior refinement is not quite what you'd expect in a high-end Audi, but the performance is very similar.
You'll find a less douchey person inside.
That is very true.
Do you still have an Audi?
No, I got rid of the Audi. I'm still douchey, though. It's the first hand of the day. Action folded around to the blinds. Gagnon shoves small to big.
Oppa Gagnon style.
Gagnon is a shorty.
He was the shorty all the live long yesterday.
Yeah, both he and Pedro Pollino have around 12 big blinds each. Gary was in the big blind there, did not call.
You know who I ran into last night here in the hotel, who is incredibly cool and very happy to see me and offered to take me around Panama and introduce me to some local club owners and the local flavor. Look, everybody, it's Boulevard Palacios.
Amazing. #1 on the Panamanian all-time money list, I'll have you know.
Says he's basically retired from poker. He's only here because it happens to be in Panama.
Action's been folded to Pollino.
Martin Lennon on Twitch says the Skoda has more rally championship wins in history. The most.
Hashtag fun facts. Hashtag PokerStars TV if you want to get in touch on Twitter. There is the live chat at twitch.tv/PokerStars, which Joe is very kindly monitoring and picking out the choice morsels from the stream of nonsense. A raise from Kenneth Smaron. Makes it 18,000 from the cutoff. It's Igor Yaroshevskyy, Gary in the small blind.
Kenneth Smaron sounds like the graphics guy was spitefully writing in that name, like the name Marin. He's like Marin Smaron.
He's still stacking chips.
Why don't you get here earlier next time? High-natured Sion on Twitch.
So a defend from Salmon in the big blind. The two Americans going heads up to the flop. And that flop is 9-8-5. Two diamonds.
If you were going to Smaron, the name Smaron, how would you say it? Smaron? Smaron, more like Smaron.
Wow, and we're only 5 minutes into the day. Action goes check, check. Turn card is an ace, the ace of hearts. Salmon checks a second time. Smaron, let's go with first names, shall we? James checks a second time. Kenneth checks behind again. The river card is the 8 of clubs, pairing the board. That's the third check from the chip leader. The man who raised pre, maybe going to put in a tickler, a delayed C-bet.
C-bet, Smee-bet.
20,000 wins him the pot. And Kenneth Smaron is now playing 497,000. Meanwhile, let's relive the moment that Tito Ortiz arrived in the tournament arena today, taking his seat at one of the 3 outer tables, unbagging his meager stack. Tito was among the chip leaders on days 2 and 3.
Tito was among the podcast guests today. Look at that tearing of the back.
Wow.
Do you remember when Phil Ivey
Yes.
couldn't do it for? He just made mincemeat of that.
Tito drinking early, getting a massage early. Yes, Tito did appear on Poker in the Ears and Eyes, which we recorded this morning before the start of play. Hopefully you'll get to see that podcast in installments tomorrow and on the final table day.
You know how if you have an SUV, they charge you more at the car wash?
Yes.
Do you think Tito gets charged more for a massage?
I don't think the same rules apply.
I'd be like, no, excuse me, but this is double. You're massive.
So we've had an under-the-gun raise here from Jonathan Abdellatif. He's made it 18,000. Round to the blinds. James Salmon in the small blind.
That's Jimmy Salmon to you.
Alexandre Viard is in the big.
Let's hope his poker decisions are better than his fashion decisions. Where's my green bucket hat?
That's a defend. Couple of questions from James Sutton on Twitter, which we'll get to after this hand. The flop is ace-7 deuce. Checked to the pre-flop aggressor. Abdellatif continues. 13,000. A salmon sandwich. Viard calls.
I just realized I forgot to eat before we went on there. This is going to be a long day if I have to watch him eat a sandwich.
So we go to the turn. It's the king of spades. Viard checks a second time. I know we allow late registration in these things, but did Pedro Pollino buy in this morning?
Never seen that guy before in my life.
$24,000, the second barrel. And that's a fold from Viard. So James Sutton asked me earlier on what's been the best thing you've seen or done in Panama. Finally tonight, I think we're actually going to leave this hotel. I'm going to say that most of the best Panama stories we're probably going to save for the podcast we record once we're back, which will be the last week of March. So listen out for the next episode of Poker in the Ears. James also asks, in your opinion, how long will it take to get to 16? I think the smart money is on 3 levels. We'd like to play into the 4th. We like our broadcast days to be balanced. We like to give you guys a few hours of entertainment. But there is a very good chance that by level 20, we could be down to 2 tables.
What does that mean in human time? We're level 18, so 2 levels from now.
Yeah, so basically...
By the end of level 3. Today's level
correct.
3. Okay.
I mean, we talked about it with the tournament staff, and we said, look, if, because it runs really fast, if midway through that 3rd level we do get to 16, we will do the redraw for the final 2 tables, and we'll at least play to the end of that level. It's highly unlikely we will play fewer than 3 levels.
Yeah,
today.
you just can't do it, because you end up shooting yourself in the foot when things slow down somehow later on, and then we're here till 1 o'clock in the morning on the penultimate day.
Exactly, and also it's not right that we go on air and come off air like 3 hours later. So raised from Gary in the cutoff. Abdellatif defends his big blind. We get a Queen 7 deuce crunchy flop. Yaroshevskyy seems to like the popcorn out there. He bets.
You like the way it goes pop, 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 pop in your mouth?
C-bet of 13,000 into a pot of 47,000. Called by Abdellatif. Turn card is another club, the 8. Check, check.
Boo.
6 of hearts. Gary ain't going to check behind. Gary's going to bet river. 27K. Just over 1/3 of the pot.
And there goes Abdellatif. A couple of more chips get shipped back to Yaroshevskyy, who we know had a massive chip stack for most of the first few days of this tournament, but lost a massive pot when he ran an ill-timed bluff against Jimmy. Smoked Salmon with 8 high like a boss, and Salmon called it off with top pair second kicker, doubled up.
So Salmon comes into play today as the chip leader. $464,000 in live earnings. Has already had a cash in a side event here in Panama. His biggest cash to date was when he came second in a World Poker Tour deep stack event in 2016 for just shy of $100,000. We mentioned Pedro Pollino from Venezuela. Haven't seen him in the tournament so far. Only 6.5K in total live earnings, and any cash in this event will be his best result to date. He is guaranteed $12,480. That's the min cash now.
James, can I give something away?
Why not?
A lot of folks on Twitch asking, what's up with the meow? Superman89 says, because his name is Gary. Meow. The first person who actually writes in the Twitch chat what I am referencing, I'm going to send you a prize. And by me, I mean one of the hardworking people at the PokerStars office.
Are you specifying what the prize is?
Nope. It's going to be a mystery prize.
Ooh.
But I think we've got most of our prizes left. I only remember giving away one
Matt
thing.
Gave away a dealer button yesterday, just so you know,
Okay.
so cross that off the list. So that was raise and take it for the chip leader. As we bring you news from the floor, a hand has been played at one of the outer tables that has resulted in the elimination of Jason Wheeler. He is out in 30th place, and he cashes for that aforementioned amount, $12,480, taking us down to 29. By the way, those of you who are interested in this kind of thing, no redraw at 24. We'll just simply have 3 tables. There will be a redraw, though, when we get down to 16.
All right, we did have a winner already on Twitch. Now, I didn't specify Twitch or Twitter, so I will give away one prize.
Okay.
In each medium. Martin Lennon wants to know, Joe and James, are you guys going anywhere else after Macau, Chile in May, or a nice Uruguay trip in September?
Well, first of all, we're not going to Macau.
Nope.
There's no live stream from Macau. We've mentioned a few times that it's really tight, the schedule, with Panama, Macau, Monte Carlo, Sochi. Something had to give. Logistically, we couldn't make all of them work. So we go from Panama to Monte Carlo at the beginning of May. There will also be a live stream from Sochi. I think Rosvedov was a bit of a one-off in the sense that we're not normally streaming festivals. Because King's Casino had their own streaming facilities, we were able to piggyback off that. Or rather, Matt was, and he talks about it extensively on the podcast. But no, generally, as a rule, championships get streamed, festivals don't.
You know, I wish I'd asked Matt more about what the setup's like there for the streaming for the podcast. Curious what their like little whole plug-and-play studio is like. Do you think I should give the prize to James Sutton for what he wrote there?
No.
Not that one.
Oh.
That one. Oh, he got twice in a row. Fine. He corrected himself. All right, so your
we got
winners.
2 winners.
James won Sutton on Twitter, and Jello Dota on Twitch were the first two people to come up with the fact that it is a SpongeBob SquarePants reference. SpongeBob's pet snail is named Gary, and he meows for some reason like a cat. Meow.
So action at the feature table here on day 4 of the PokerStars Championship Panama main event. Sees a raise from Alexandre Viard in the hijack. He's made it 19,000.
They're both going to win a double deck of cards, by the way.
Jonathan Abdellatif is in the cutoff. Abdellatif decided to fold. Pollino is also out. Smaron has passed. Samuel Gagnon is in the big blind. Has around 11 big blinds.
Back in the day, we used to always call this an all-in or fold situation. I think it does fall into that category a lot of the time, but we know it's acceptable now to peel once. And that is what our friend is going to do. He's going to see a flop.
And that flop is ace, tray, deuce. It is wheelie. Action check to Viard. He continues for 10,000. And gets a fold.
My milkshake brings all the chips to Viard. A lot of folks thought I was referencing Super Troopers, including Simon Baker. Not the Mentalist.
Not the Mentalist.
The meow scene from Super Troopers, which is in my top 5 favorite comedies of all time. Not what I was referencing, however.
So Alexandre Viard won that last hand. The Frenchman has $351,000 in live tournament winnings. His best result was at the Evian Poker Open in 2010, where he got 22.5K for finishing 4th. Abdellatif has raised here to 20,000. It's a sizable open. Gary's in the big blind. Gary wants his chips back.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how he approaches today because he had a massive, he was the absolute chip leader, I believe, at the end of day 1, at the end of day 2, most of day 3. It was only that one hand that we really saw him, and he lost half his stack. So it should be fun today to watch him rebuild that. Clearly he knows how to do it.
So he's re-raised here to 70,000. Both these players relatively deep, both playing 60 big blind stacks. Abdellatif can legitimately call here, play the flop in position. Obviously putting in a 4th bet is not beyond the realms of possibility. He decides to go for the third option, which is to surrender, folds the hand, and Gary adds 30k to his stack.
Surrender, he's Belgian.
Yaroshevskyy back up to around 560,000. Second in chips at this table. Obviously, the tournament chip leader is the monster stack on the main stage. Salmon playing more than $1 million.
Smoked salmon. We've also decided he plays professional jazz flute.
You can't just make up stories on this live stream.
Oh, you are one to talk. Can't wait to see how many times I get reeled in by your fake facts today. Not used to you making jokes. Thrown off.
That was a raise and take it for Kenneth Smaron.
Smaron.
Still got two shorties at the table. Pedro Pollino has 10 big blinds. Samuel Gagnon has 9 big blinds. Only one elimination so far today in the first 20 minutes of play. We lost Jason Wheeler in 30th place. 29 remaining from the 366 who started. Still got one spin and go qualifier in the field, Joe. Febrice de Benedictis, who spent a fair amount of time on the feature table over the last few days. Works in security as a technician who makes or maintains alarms.
We're going to need him if we're going to pull off that jewel heist.
Playing his first major tournament here in Panama, says he is a huge fan of the webcasts, also a big football fan.
Can he drive a van? He's going to have to be the guy that sits in the van, disables the alarms, and then drives it afterward.
Do we not have the budget for a separate driver and a separate alarm specialist?
I just don't want to cut that many people in. It's more for us.
Can always kill them afterwards.
Not my style. You're the one that, like, everybody's not that sure about, and I vouch for you, and then you go crazy and murder everybody. He's cool, guys. He's cool. He's just a little weird.
Welcome to James and Joe's Fantasy Heists. As we go three-way to this flop, Abdellatif's under the gun raise called in 2 spots. King, Jack, 6, 2 spades. Viard, who defended his big blind, checks. No continuation bet from Abdellatif. Action has been checked to Kenneth Smaron.
Interesting lack of C-bet from Abdellatif. What do you not C-bet here? Pairs? Some pairs, I guess, right?
Pair of 10s.
I think small pairs too, maybe you don't C-bet.
So Smaron's made it 29,000.
Someone on Twitch said the American commentator is the guy at the orgy who finishes first so he can steal all the other guys' wallets. It's not that far off.
Well, Viard called the bet. The original raiser folded. Heads up to the turn, which is the 3 of hearts. Viard checks a second time.
Yeah, and the big blind's going to call with a lot of Broadway hands, so this is going to hit the big blind range pretty often.
Well, a second bet from Smaron gets the job done. We talked about the last remaining lady in the tournament. Alejandro on Twitter says Jessica Perez. Borrego is her second last name, so please refer to her as Jessica Perez. Will do, Alejandro. It's very confusing when people have multiple surnames. Oh, Smaron, a pretty active player, raising under the gun here. Could just be on a rush, could just be running hot. Makes it 18,000 to go.
Could be just picking on the big blind of the guy that just bought in.
Don't worry, Francesca, we haven't given out the free roll password yet, but I guarantee it'll happen at some point during this first level.
Raise and take it.
Boom. So of the 29 players remaining, 28 of them are of the male gender. As we mentioned, only one lady remains in the Panama main event, and that lady is from Panama. Her name is Jessica Perez.
And I do not have my soundboards playing inappropriate sound effect. I'm sorry.
Oh, I said 29. Make that 28. Jason Kuhn has just been eliminated in 29th place.
You can't spell Kuhn without KO.
And it is a cliche, Joe, but day 4, it tends to be the day when we lose a lot of the big names, a lot of the famous faces. So far, we've lost 2, Wheeler and Kuhn.
Yeah.
The 2 Jasons gone. 28 players remaining now. We'll break a table when we're down to 24. Redraw when we get to 16.
Big Uncle Davey with a slight needle on Twitch, but it's worth mentioning, so I'm going to bring it up anyway. He says there is a new buy-in tourney at the Hippodrome next month. It's called something like the PokerStars Grassroots Festival. 170 pounds to enter if you fancy trying to cash there for the first time.
Yeah, this is the new 3rd tier of live event. So we've got the championships, which were obviously the top tier, the stellar events, the big fields, the 5K buy-ins. Then we've got the festivals, lower buy-in. Obviously very successful in both London and Rosvadov so far this year. And then we've got, for want of a better word, the grassroots events, like the Mega Stacks, like the London series at the Hippodrome, which I think are going to be a lot of fun. It is a bit of a needle, because I looked at the schedule for all of these events at the Hippodrome, and literally every single one between now and the end of September, I am either at a live event or on holiday.
Have you cashed in any of those Hippodrome events we've played, though?
Yes.
You did, right?
You had a piece of my action, remember?
Yes. Well, I was just giving you the reason to
Oh, thank you.
say that. I have not cashed.
To be fair, Joe, it's not beyond the realms of possibility that you wouldn't remember.
It's true. The tournament where I had the best chance of cashing, I probably shouldn't even tell this story on the air, is that there was this girl that I've been wanting to go out with for a really long time. I met her on tour, and we sort of played, like, what's the new word for phone tag? Text tag, like whatever. We couldn't make our schedules work. And she's like, oh, I'm going to be in London on this date. I'm like, oh, I'm playing a poker tournament. Why don't you just swing by and I'll come out during one of the breaks and we'll have a beer. And while I was having a beer with her, I'd like doubled up in the first level. And while I was having a beer with her, I like fell head over heels for her. And during that 15-minute break, and I just stayed out hanging out with her for like the next level and a half. And when I came back, I had like 12 big blinds.
Why do I continue to swap a percentage with you?
I busted out.
Seriously, it's such a negative EV situation for me. We have been swapping 10% since what, 2011? And I think the money has gone in one direction for the last 6 years.
Yes, but I will free roll you 10% in things you're not even playing in.
That is true.
Granted, I don't cash in those either. I'm giving 10% to about 14 people, knowing that there's no danger that I'll ever cash.
Gagnon has moved all in. He shoved small to big. Gary did not call him in the big blind. So Gagnon still hovering around the 10 big blind mark. And those of you looking to play some poker this afternoon will be wanting information on today's PokerStars TV free roll. 4:15 Eastern Daylight Time, that is 9:15 Central European Time. You'll find it in the Stars lobby if you search PokerStars TV. We put 2,000 bucks in the prize pool. We also put bounties on the heads of the English commentators. Yes, the bonus bonanza that started in the Bahamas continues here in Panama. 100 bucks for knocking out Hartigan, Stapleton, or Waster. That's Matt Broughton. Here is today's free roll password. It is Bruce Chen, in honor of the first man to swim the length of the Panama Canal, a feat he accomplished in 1988. A real local legend here in Panama City. Bruce Chen, all lowercase, will get you in to today's free roll.
I know he's lying this time. That is actually, the password is Brew Chechen, and that is a type of beer they sell here in Panama.
So we have an all-in on one of the outer tables, and it is Tito Ortiz who has been presented with the glass triangle of death. And it looks like he's been called in multiple spots. Jessica Perez, one of the other players involved in this hand. So we are going to see action on the side between her and Robin Wozniacek. It's an ace-8-6 flop.
Dang, this side action. We don't know what Tito has.
I want to inform the dealer that line is on the table for a reason. Four of spades on the turn. Here on the PokerStars on ship, Tito is going to see whether he will triple up.
Thank you.
Can anyone beat jacks?
Winning with the massage. Ah, shit.
Tito Ortiz triples up, jacks hold.
How does that happen?
Thank you for my $25,000 chip back. Appreciate it.
One yellow chip for Tito. Back to the feature table where this hand has gone to the river. Unraised pre. Yaroshevskyy limped the small. Salmon checked in the big. Check, check on the flop. Check, check on the turn. And on the river, Salmon has bet 54,000.
What do you got, king, queen again? What do you got, king? What do you got, 8 high? Can't have 8 high. I'm happy for Tito that he changed his flight and just tripled up. I mean, that's annoying, right? You come in with like 17 big blinds.
Yeah.
Change your flight. Oh, I'm out in the first hand. That's great. I want to go home now.
Gary looks mildly confused.
Meow.
Well, it's a call. And Queen 10 is good. So Salmon takes nearly 70K off Yaroshevskyy.
I thought he had a yellow, sorry. Slow roll. I thought he had like 2 yellows underneath. Could be the light, sorry.
Meanwhile, Tito is in action again, this time against
All right.
Byron Caverman. So let's get to the outer table. Ace, 8, deuce on the flop, 2 spades. And Caveman is surrendering the pot to Tito.
I can match it. You're my good luck charm over here. Keep rubbing.
Oh, boy.
Caveman showed the king of spades there.
And this is why I don't like to sit at the main table, because I get a massage, I get to enjoy myself, I can have fun with some great people.
Not like those losers at the main table.
So as well as Byron Caveman on his table, you may have noticed Tito was sat next to Pablo Gordillo, who became something of a legend back in 2014 when he won 2 major events on a Sunday on Stars in the same night. Yaroshevskyy has raised from the button and both blinds have folded. On to the next hand. So yeah, register for the free roll. How many people we got so far? 1,200. I'm in. Joe, you in?
I am in. Well, I'm not in literally right now, but
you will be.
Metaphoric, in theory.
Okay.
In principle, I'm in.
Don't forget those bounties for knocking out one of the commentators, and the password is on your screen right now.
Mark my words. This is the day I will go deep in the free roll. Play is going to end like 3/4 of the way through level 3. Everyone's going to go to dinner and meet hot Panamanian women, and I'm going to cash for $4.11 in the free roll.
I hope everyone is enjoying the weekend. Chance to kick back and watch some poker today and tomorrow, and hopefully you're in a place on Monday where you can still watch the stream. Don't forget, as well as being on PokerStars.tv, we also stream on YouTube, youtube.com/PokerStars, and on Twitch, twitch.tv/PokerStars, plus Facebook Live, variety of ways to watch us. There's also the PokerStars TV app. And in this hand, between Abdellatif and Smaron, we have an ace-queen-7 all-heart flop.
I wish I didn't find the name Smaron so amusing. I really do, though. You guys, I swear I'm going to do some analysis at some point today. I'm like just, every time I'm like, oh, it's over.
Well, Smaron, c-bet there for 18,000, got a fold from his opponent. Smaron second in chips at the feature table with a 69 big blind stack. James Salmon, obviously the big stack on the main stage. Also the big stack in the tournament with 28 players remaining as we aim to get down to 16 here on day 4. Still 2 days to play. Tomorrow we'll get down to 6. On Monday we will play down to a champion. Halfway through the first level of the day.
Bruce Chen.
Now the real answer, and I am being honest this time, Bruce Chen is a Panamanian former professional baseball pitcher.
How dare they pick a Panamanian professional baseball pitcher and not make it Mariano Rivera? Get out of here.
You may have given away a future free roll password. I mean, not being funny, once the Zinc Minotaur hits upon a theme, he kind of like goes with it. So there's a very good chance that the password for tomorrow or the day after could be that.
Mariano Rivera is a guaranteed first ballot Hall of Famer.
So Chen played for the Braves, the Phillies, the Mets, the Montreal Expos. Who the hell are the Montreal Expos?
Canada used to have the Blue Jays and the Expos. They got rid of the Expos, I think, in the late 90s. They used to play in this place called Olympic Stadium that had a retractable dome, but it didn't work.
Anyway, Bruce Chen, professional baseball pitcher, and the first man to swim the length of the Panama Canal.
Remember when Pee Wee Herman got arrested for that thing in the movie theater?
Oh, yeah.
We used to make a joke that he was playing for the Expos. Speaking of 80s references, somebody just switched on their ColecoVision.
Abdellatif rather has 3-bet here. Smaron opened under the gun to 18,000, and Jonathan's made it 65,000 out of the small blind. Pollino, who hasn't played a hand today and is bleeding chips really fast, quickly folded the big, so the action is back on the original razor. Pollino, by the way, has got just 7 big blinds left. Marco LaRoche asks, WTF, where is the freaking password?
I don't know, Marco. Try using your eyes. Also, we just had quite a long discussion. It's Mariano Rivera.
Abdellatif moves ahead of Smaron on the leaderboard.
That's right, Broken Flops. The Expos became the Washington Nationals.
Aha. Gagnon all in.
Up on Gagnon style.
Open shoving here. And gets folds.
Yes, I agree with Chip Avalanche on Twitch, who says, Marco, ask Bruce Chen what the password is. He might know.
Carry is folded under the gun. Action on the chip leader. He's passed. Viard is out.
Oh, how have you not heard about this? Are you serious?
I don't know. Anyway, it was pretty awkward because like the whole crew was on stage.
And they ran up and they were like crying.
Yeah, and they're like, oh wait, no, it's not a joke. It's someone else.
Terrible.
I know that poker players often aren't up to speed on popular culture, but like, what? Oh, Pollino's playing a hand. He's all in and he's been called.
Dr. Pollino.
Abdellatif open to 18K. Pollino shoved super small, 51K.
It is
snap call.
Domination Nation.
I guess this is probably the best hand Pollino has seen all day, but he's only got 25% equity. There are some opportunities.
How many big blinds do they have? 7?
Yeah.
For that few big blinds, I'd be tempted to fold to an open. I mean, if it was a button open, I'm in the blinds. I don't know. Maybe I'm just playing results.
Oh, he's flopped a gut shot.
When he hits the deuce here, I'm going to change my tune anyway.
Very important to play results, Joe.
Yeah, no,
Very
I gotta
important.
just play results, really. It's all we have.
Deuces and fives working for Pollino, who is the player at risk here. The turn card is an 8. Same outs needed. Unless he hits a 5 or a deuce on the river, he will be our 28th place finisher. It's a king. That means ace-10 holds, and that means we lose Pedro Pollino. And in fact, I can tell you that Pollino is our 27th place finisher, because shortly before he went busto, Alex Dimitrov was eliminated in 28th place from the outer tables. So we are down to 26 players now.
I was ready to be like slow, like really slow. It is. And when my wife and I went to the movies.
So there is Dimitrov at the cash desk getting his payment of $12,480. Meanwhile, Pollino goes out in 27th. He gets the same score. The next money jump is when we're down to 23.
It's just intense. It's not like a really
We have another all-in. This is Viard shoving for 13 big blinds. Just got Gary in the big blind to get through, and Gary has folded.
His short shove brings all the chips to Viard.
The new train spotting movie. That's out.
Dude, you're picking the wrong guy to talk movies with. He doesn't know what happened at the Academy Awards. You think he's keeping up on the new train spotting trailer?
It was in the UK. Yeah. I guess you can call it European film.
He really just wants to talk to somebody. There's a Canadian at the table you can talk to.
On Netflix Q, it comes up as like, you know, if you're in America, it comes up as.
Really?
Yeah.
You should watch it. It's a fucking great movie, man. Train spotting that was a must see in my generation.
Trainspotting is a movie that
How old are you?
describing it doesn't do it justice. It's
Agreed.
fantastic, and when you hear what the movie's about, it's
I wanted to guess that.
or when you see individual scenes or hear things about that happen in the movie, it really doesn't do it justice.
Obviously, you get to the cinema a lot more than I do. Have you seen the sequel?
Or if you wanted to
Is it out already?
It came out in like February.
Oh no,
Oh, maybe it's not out in the States. It opened in the UK like mid-February.
I don't think it's out yet in the States. I do get to the cinema more than you do, but I have a hard time going to see good movies. I only see like the big budget ones.
So Gagnon finds himself all in with ace-king against James Salmon's ace-9. Another domination situation, this time in favor of the player who's at risk.
I don't like it this time. The best hands won far too often so far today. I do appreciate Gagnon's ability to survive, though.
Oh,
Told
there's
ya.
a 9 on the flop. Domination rotation, leaving Gagnon with 3 outs. He's going to need a king on the river, or we are down to 25 players.
Shame to see him go out this way. Really worked that short stack. Short stack ninja skills all day yesterday.
No king on the river, so we lose Samuel Gagnon. The Canadian busts in 26th place. Meanwhile, Nick Vasquez says, having to hear that story about the Oscars was painful. Did Salmon also miss the results of the last US election? Scott Adamson says, back home after dinner and a movie. Watched Logan. Good movie. Now some PokerStars TV before getting some sleep. Are you going to take Scott up on the
Yes.
epic understatement of that
Yes,
review?
Logan is, in my opinion, probably the second best comic book movie of all time after The Dark Knight.
He was humming the song earlier, and now it's stuck in my head. I don't even like Drake either.
Meanwhile, James Salmon has increased his chip lead to 1.1 million. 143 bigs with still 40 minutes to play at this level.
Right, where it's like, even if you don't like him.
I went to his concert, honestly, I thought I was going to fall asleep, and I was sitting in the pit. He's not a good entertainer.
Yeah.
I mean, he makes good music, it's catchy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, like, for the radio or clubs,
Yeah.
but, like, he's not a good performer at all.
Yeah.
He's boring as shit.
So you got to talk to Smoked Salmon
Like, I
about
would rather go
his
see,
industry,
like, Jay-Z
music.
Or Chris Brown or Bruno Mars any day. Over
They're talking about this hot new artist called
I've never
Sting.
seen Bruno
He's
Mars.
very new on the scene. Salmon hasn't heard of him yet.
No. I'm King Double Annie.
What's that?
I'm King Double Annie.
We all pitched one in, actually. And you're still doing it.
Were you from Pennsylvania?
So playing quite short-handed on the main stage. Obviously, we're going to break a table when we lose another player.
Philly, too. Right in the city. Right in the city of Philly.
And the tour is heading to Macau after Panama wraps in a few days' time. The City of Dreams is the destination.
Yeah, Philly's tough.
30th of March to 9th of April. Qualifiers running now. Search Macau in the tournament lobby.
And then drove
You fly into Philly, yeah.
Yeah, and it's a tough city. That was my
It really
first
is the city of dreams.
Miami. Well, really plantation, but I just stuck with Miami because
I'd gladly move down there.
Especially if your dream is to be bathed
Now, but I'm from
yeah, South Florida's sweet.
like a king at a very low price.
If I ever do go back to the States,
So here comes the last remaining spin and go qualifier, Febrice de Benedictis. The guy who is going to help with the alarms on Joe's mythical heist.
That's right, it's mythical.
Got to keep the tables balanced. So this guy is a security technician. Playing in his first major tournament, guaranteed at least $12,500. Meanwhile, Gary has limped the button.
Meow. I want to go see Logan again, just even thinking about it.
Salmon calls as well. Viard has the option. And he opts to check. We are going three-way to the flop in an unraised pot. That flop is king, tray, deuce.
What's the score on that Pong match happening? Sounds like it's 1-1. So interesting, quite limped, unraised pot. Obviously, you're going to get the blinds along for the ride most of the time when that happens. And it looks like Smoked Salmon's going to go for the betting lead to a pot of 30,000. He bets 14,000. Strong. I guess you can lead with quite a bit here.
Must be fun to be a billionaire. I wish.
Viard is folded. And looks like Gary's folded as well. Salmon wins the pot. The rich get richer. As Undersea Monkey notes, he says that 9 had an air of inevitability. The hand that eliminated Samuel Gagnon. Spin and go!
I wish I could play spin and go.
Or anything.
Like, let me just get a qualifier at least. Like, I just gotta.
I believe play money spin and goes are available. Also, you can always move to New Jersey. Oh, goodness.
Yeah, but it's like, what am I gonna do? Get a VPN and then get kicked off?
Exactly. You can't do that, especially on a live stream where stars thing. You can't really talk about VPNing, I guess.
VP whatting?
Action folded around to Gary. He's raising this time.
Hello.
A shove from Alexandre Viard. He's playing around 15 big blinds. And Gary quickly folds as well. Appreciate we got some people who are just joining us here on PokerStars TV, eager to play our free roll, which is starting in 2 hours and 10 minutes time. 8,000 players have registered already. There are 30,000 seats available. You're going to need the password if you want to register for the game, though, and today's password is Bruce Chen. It's on the screen, B-R-U-C-E-C-H-E-N, all lowercase. Bruce Chen is the password that will get you into today's game. You'll find it by searching PokerStars TV in the tournament lobby.
I wonder if he was famous for throwing it inside, giving him a little of the old Chen music.
Trading things, that's a solid choice.
Fucking shit.
I know you really don't do baseball, but they call it chin music usually if you throw one right in the kitchen.
That will be your number one.
Tried out for junior varsity baseball, James, when I was like 14 or 15 years old, and on the day the coach was making the cuts, after tryouts. I was the last guy to go, and he goes, "Look,
Going with,
I'd probably cut you, but I don't really have enough people on the team. I don't have to cut anybody, so you can be on the team if you want, I guess."
my third, I'm set the loss. Those are my go-to, though. I've seen.
That must have done wonders for your self-esteem.
Goodfellas probably.
I was the threat. Like, every time, like, our team was like a bunch of F-ups, and so every time the team, you know, the stars of the team were being lazy, I was the threat. He'd be like, "I got a good mind to start Stapleton tonight instead of you."
After a while, didn't the rest of the team realize that this was clearly an empty threat?
Yeah, they would just laugh at him.
I might say something.
They had such little respect for the coach that when he was pitching batting practice, when they were throwing the balls in from the outfield, they would try to hit him.
150 years anyways.
Yeah. You can go with Anchorman and still leave.
And he used to wear the number 1 on his jersey. And so if they hit him in the leg with the ball when they were throwing it in, they would then yell, "Don't rub it, 1." Yeah, it's good times. I neither had their respect nor their friendship.
Oh my God! Yeah. Wow. How did I leave that one out?
All right, we found a movie that Smoked Salmon's seen, The Usual Suspects, 1996.
5.
Put these together here.
Sure.
You can check it, but trust me, I'm right.
I'm not checking it. I don't care.
Like, tell what's your favorite movies are?
When I went to film school, everyone's 2 favorite movies were The Usual Suspects and The Big
What about
Lebowski.
you? You want to share?
Godfather. Which one?
Good choice, Gary.
The second one?
Godfather 2. Even better choice, Gary.
Slight mathematical advantage.
Like the third one, yeah? What did he say?
He just said he likes the third one, James.
Tie between
Gary, no!
the second and the third. I mean,
So the clock has been paused because a player has just been eliminated,
Shawshank.
and that player is Pablo Gordillo. Gone in 25th place, taking us down to 24, and we'll pause the clock while we break a table and give players their new seating assignments. So, Joe, tell us who's taken the 2 seat at our feature table.
That would be Arunas Sapitavicius. Oh, I was just close. I got cocky. Arunas, where is he at? There he is, number 5 there. Arunas Sapitavicius.
We'll just go with Arunas. He's got 393,000 chips, around an average stack, 50 big
Sapitavicius.
blinds.
Do you think it's a hard C or a soft C?
I think it's probably a hard C.
Sapitavicius. Okay, I got it on the 3rd try. Not my worst. Not my best, but not my worst.
So he and Kaufman tally the 2 new players at the table, and so we play on.
Oh, 8-handed poker, it's the worst. Actions folded around to the 2nd shortest stack of the table.
full set of tables minus 1 guy.
Viard, he's been all in a bunch.
It's like a mini bubble.
He's still Googling Midnight Run.
No.
You got
I'm trying to see who won this UFC fight.
Tally ho, defending his big blind against the raise from Abdellatif.
9-8-5 on the flop with 2 spades.
I was close on that one too. Abdellatif. Come on, Stapes.
7 of clubs on the turn. You do realize that being American, people are going to give you a lot more leeway.
I don't want the leeway.
So with no continuation bet from Abdellatif on the flop, Tally leads turn for 32,000. Abdellatif calls. There is 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There is a straight on the board. I have verified it. I've checked it myself.
Now, those aren't the only straights possible, though.
That is true. but I haven't sung once on this trip. So I'm really hoping that they're both playing the board.
I don't think I've sung either, which means no singing has happened.
That makes me sad.
Considering it's the only song we own the rights to.
And I really feel that the crew deserves a treat. Oh, look at this. Abdellatif is going to bet this is not going to get checked to showdown. 100,000. And that's a fold. Still no chop pot song on this trip.
Boo.
So with all the early eliminations today, the average stack right now is actually around 457,000, so slightly above the 50 big blind mark. But bear in mind those blinds will go up after the break, which occurs in 26 minutes time.
It's now 2-1.
And we'll keep you across the score in that Pong game, as well as the big pots, the big double ups, and the eliminations in the PokerStars Championship Panama main event.
Pokemon Face on Twitch asks, how can I donate to this channel? What you want to do is get on Venmo and Joe_Stapes.
What does he mean, donate to this channel?
On Twitch, certain channels accept donations. Ours does not. But my Venmo does.
That was raise and take it for Jonathan Abdellatif.
I guess we're going to see things tighten up a little bit now that we're eight-handed here. Looks like action is folded around to Kaufman Tally on the button who folds. And the blinds are going at it. We're playing a pot, that is. And we finally got some aggression. Yaroshevskyy betting this flop, 9,000. Sapitavicius out of there. Yaroshevskyy still around the same stack he started the day with, 450K. Viard folds. In fact, everybody folds over the Kaufman tally. Tally makes it 18,000. Yaroshevskyy, Gary, on the button.
The blinds. Salmon is in.
Smoked salmon. Tally's going to continue. Tally-ho!
You're going to say that, you have to say it properly. Tally-ho! Continuation bet of 22,000. And Salmon folds. Free roll password still on the screen for those of you trying to register today's PokerStars TV free roll. Bruce Chen is the word. I appreciate it's actually two words, but we've merged them together into one word that will get you into today's game. 12,000 players have registered. That means there are 18,000 seats still available. 2,000 bucks in the prize pool plus $100 bounties on the commentators. Joe Stapleton, J. Hartigan, Waster. Those are our online handles. If you happen to draw our table or we get moved to your table, you're with a chance of claiming that bounty worth 100 bucks.
And my bounty has been particularly easy to collect this week. Folded around to Gary.
And Yaroshevskyy is raised from the cutoff. He's made it 16,000. It's round to Alexandre Viard in the big blind. One of the two short stacks at the table. He and Febrice de Benedictis both hovering around the 15 big blind mark. I've just seen the story, Joe, from Variety about Beauty and the Beast poised to break box office records. I know you really want me to see Logan, and I will at some point, but you have to understand, I have to take one for the family. My priority is to take my daughter to see Beauty and the Beast before Logan.
Well, Logan is about someone's daughter, James, so
yeah,
it's R-rated, though.
Yes.
What do you mean it's going to break box office records? Is it, like, it's doing well?
It's doing very well.
Oh, cool. Good for them. Glad to see that boycott's working out. Losers. Scott got back in touch to say you might be right about Logan being one of the best superhero movies in the top 3 with Dark Knight and Deadpool for me, and I think those are probably my top 3 as well.
It took $64 million on Friday. Its 3-day estimate stands at a potentially record-breaking $170 million. Additionally, the film has taken $40 million on Friday from international grosses.
I was disappointed I didn't get to see Skull Island before I left. I was just too busy leading up to this trip. Like I was saying, I do go to the movies, but I usually just go see like the event movies now.
As we've said many times on the podcast, TV's just so good right now.
TV's really good. If I'm going to watch drama, you know, I don't... Leaving the house for drama is hard. Leaving the house to go see something in, like, IMAX is a different story. So this is an early position raise from Smaron, defended by Abdellatif.
Wow, check the Skype chat, Joe. Chris, the producer, just managed to contribute to a movie conversation without mentioning Star Wars.
Are you sure episode 8 isn't called Twin Peaks?
We have gone to the flop here, by the way. Smaron's open, defended by Abdellatif in the big blind. Smaron's continued for 17,000. Abdellatif calls. Turn card is the 3 of hearts.
This Abdellatif, again, seems like one of those messed up graphics miscommunications. Like, he's like, yes, my name's Abdellatif.
Action goes check, check on the turn. 9 of clubs on the river.
I don't know if we're going to count that one or not.
Half a point? Yeah. 2.5 won in the Pong match.
Panapong.
Abdellatif leading river. 82,000 in the middle. It's a bet of roughly half pot, 44K. Daniel on Twitter says, proud to say I took my daughter to see Logan before she saw Beauty and the Beast, but she is 14 going on 15. Yeah, Daniel, my daughter's about half that age, so I don't think Logan is appropriate
I
for
wouldn't
her.
take a 14-year-old to see Logan, having seen it.
And you certainly wouldn't take an 8-year-old, right?
No, God, no. I think Abdellatif is going to have a lot of queens. I think that he's going to have some 9s. Smaron, the only aggressive action we've seen from him post-flop was on the flop, and he's going to continue with a lot of hands that missed. So I think that Abdellatif can bluff a lot here. He can certainly value bet a queen. He can probably value bet a 9. Remember, he's in the big blind, so he's going to have a lot of 9-10s and queen 9s and sometimes 8-9, all the broadways, so that's a lot of queens. Smaron's probably got a tough decision here with a hand like 10s or jacks.
Well, he's called.
And he's mucking. Or he, yeah, there's the Broadway type of hand we're talking about from Abdellatif.
Fascinated to know what Smaron called with, but he chose to muck there. Meanwhile, Abdellatif chips up to nearly 100 big blinds, 782,000. Second in chips at the table. James Salmon still the tournament boss with close to 1.2 million. Just 13.5 minutes until the end of the level and the first break of the day. When we come back from break, blinds will be up to 5,000 and 10,000. Coming up in the break.
PokerStars moments, JC Alvarado. Why is JC Alvarado in quotes? Is it like a ironic
well, obviously, that's
JC Alvarado?
his nickname because his real name is JC Avocado from New Mexico, Mexico.
He was the only player to challenge Dan Smith in the 2012 Super High Roller in Barcelona. Coming up in the break, PokerStars moments, JC. That's the same thing again. Okay.
Yeah, it's called a crawler, Joe.
Yeah, well, sometimes there's more than one thing on it. And how am I supposed to know if I don't keep reading it? Smaron. Smaron. Raisin. Raisin Smazin. Grizzly on Twitch asks, how many have they decided to play down to today? We will play down to 16. or 4 levels.
But crucially, and this is the caveat, we want to play at least 3 levels. So if we were to get down to 16 before the completion of 3 full levels, chances are we would continue. So really, the least you're going to see today is 4.5 hours of poker, plus break content. Martin says, when are you expecting the players to be at the final table? Well, the final 6 will come back on Monday. So tomorrow we'll play down to the final 6. At some point along the way, we'll hit the official final table, which is 8. But only 6 will return for the final day when we go cards up here in Panama. William asks, how is MMA Man doing? I think he's referring to Tito Ortiz. Tito, we understand, has a relatively short stack still, but we are keeping an eye on him and on the other players at the 2 outer tables. Only 3 tables remain in the tournament, 24 players. And 3 of them have gone to the flop on the main stage. This is an unraised pot. Abdellatif limping the button. The Benedictis and Smaron getting to see a cheap flop out of the blinds. Queen 8-8. With the action check to him, Abdellatif bets.
The Benedictis and Smaron sound like the most ragtag, unlikely cop duo of all time. The Benedictis and Smaron, get in here!
The Benedictis check raises all in from the small blind, gets a fold.
But I forgot, he's already part of the... Oh, maybe he's undercover in the jewel heist. Particularly essential viewing.
Surtout à 24. Ouais. Ah, c'est 4000, hein. Déjà. C'est du bien, ça.
Okay, sharp end of the stick. I'm listening.
Bah oui. Spinning. Je veux dire, tu aurais pu swap avec le... Ah oui. Non, non, ouais. 100%.
Oh, these guys can talk French to each other.
Oui, bien sûr.
Good for them. Sharp end of the stick. Tell me the whole joke so I can tell it to him. I can't do it this way. So Viard is all in and gets called by Tally. Tally's got him covered. Ace Jack for Tally, suited. Ace 9 suited for Viard. We did see the 9 suck out in our last Domination Nation situation, causing much consternation and an elimination. Which I guess in a way is kind of a standing ovation. Diamond, heart, heart on the flop. Ace 9 picks up a bajillion outs. Danger Will Robinson. The turn is a 6. More outs, 18 outs. That might just be too many. The river is a heart, not too many outs. Ace 9 of hearts gets there. My nut flush brings all the chips to Viard, and my hand is better than yours.
Damn right, it's better than yours.
James, knock, knock.
Who's there?
Dishes.
Dishes who?
Dishes Sean Connery. All right, well, that was courtesy of Sharp End of the Stick, yo, on Twitch. I'm going to send you a prize. Hardigan is tickled.
That's great.
I'm going to send you $11 in T-Money so you can play the Sunday Storm tomorrow. Sharp End of the Stick, yo. Wow, he's still going.
It's just so stupid. I love it.
If you don't get your $11 in time to play the Sunday Storm tomorrow, you'll get it in time for the next one. All right? Is that right? Is that right? You want to help me interpret this question from
I will try.
Martin?
I will try.
Do you even sleep when you are covering poker events, or is it too much with stairwells and stairways?
What?
You said you would try.
I mean, I can understand the first part of the question.
Yes.
Do you even sleep when you're covering poker events, right? But why would stairwells or stairways play a part?
I don't know. I needed your help.
I tried. I said I would try, but I can't.
I am trying.
Tell you what, I was hoping to get a good night's rest last night, but those stairways.
Oh, man, you know what hotel had the worst stairways? Barcelona. Woof. No sleep at all.
I'm not trying to slow it. I'm trying to get paid, John.
That's right, we are on a mini bubble at the moment.
That's like the cost of the trip, the next page up. Airfare, hotel.
Yep.
So tally has raised to 54,000, which is a pretty committing raise. It's a virtual all-in, but Yaroshevskyy is literally all-in, and now for tally, it's all-in to call.
What are you thinking about, bro?
Next player out, $12,500, but then we have a money jump.
So maybe that's why he's looking at the board right now.
Exactly. If you can hang on, if you can survive to 23rd place, you've earned yourself an additional 3.5K.
On a Airbnb, juste à côté. C'est vraiment l'immeuble à côté du casino. C'est à 20 mètres. Ouais, c'est génial. Sauf qu'après une semaine avec 4 mecs dans un appart, on a vraiment besoin d'une femme de ménage. Mais voilà quoi. Short bataille.
So let me get this right. Half of his stack is already out there.
Yeah. I mean, is he going to tank till someone goes broke at another table?
Ouais, tu connais pas. Mon collègue, exactement, et puis deux mecs.
I mean, that's not beyond the realms of possibility that that's his strategy, is he's waiting to hear about an elimination at one of the other tables. You can probably see over there that exactly there's action on the outer tables. He's hoping to maybe just hang around long enough to be guaranteed 23rd place. Well, I'm being advised by our spies on the floor there are no significant pots being played on either of the outer tables. Do or die time, my friend.
Il y a Barcelone bientôt. Il y a Barcelone bientôt. Quoi, c'est out? Je ferai des spinengo pour venir. Je ferai des spinengo pour venir.
Je sais qu'à Monte Carlo, en fait, il y avait sur les. Je pense qu'il y avait 1000 participants.
I don't know that I've ever been able to identify this strategy so opaquely. I think I just used the word opaque when I meant to say transparent. Very transparent. This is excellent.
Just the four scoop. Alright. There's no more hands.
I mean, if I was at this table, there we go.
Okay, he gets...
He was waiting for one hand at least to finish at each table.
So Jack's the hand for Tally, and he is the player at risk here. Ace-King the hand for Yaroshevskyy. Classic race underway at the feature table, a race that Tally needs to win to survive.
Like Cornish pasties versus sausage rolls, one of these two hands has a slight mathematical advantage.
Pasties? What planet are you on?
Matt gave me that one. I don't.
Pasties. Pasties.
Oh, I thought it was things you covered your nipples with.
No.
That's why the other one is sausage rolls.
Here comes the flop. Ace high. Tally looking for a jack.
OMG.
2 outs for the American. Needs to hit a jack on the river or we're down to 23. It's a blank, so we lose Kaufman Tally in 24th place. The final tally, $12,480 going into his account. Everyone else now guaranteed more than 16K. Now we have our final 23.
James, I want to give this guy the reverence he deserves, and the level's almost over, but Martin has gotten back in touch, and he is referencing the all-time worst skit we ever did. Like the one that just landed in no way, shape, or form. He says, you don't remember the argument with James regarding stairways to heaven versus stairwells?
It was staircase.
It was staircases, yes.
Yeah, if you're going to reference a really bad sketch, please try and get the detail correct.
And there's only 5 seconds left on this level. I don't even have time to explain.
There's
what
nothing
was
to
going on in
explain,
that
Joe.
sketch. How did that ever make it to
We
the
are
shooting stage?
going to squeeze in, however, one more hand before the 20-minute break. The deal has already started.
All right.
Action's been folded around to Kenneth Smaron. He raises to 16,000. Gary folds the small blind. Arunas in the big blind.
Arunas will ruin us.
I'm Sapitavicius.
No, I'm Sapitavicius.
9-8-7. It's a straighty flop.
Hit him with the 9.
Action check to the razor. Smaron checks behind. Turn card is a 5. Obviously, we just referenced a very famous movie scene there. If you watch that scene, the only slave who claims not to be Spartacus is Spartacus. And if Laurence Olivier had been paying attention, he would have noticed that, and he would have had his man.
Is it really that? There's only one guy that doesn't stand up.
And it's Kirk Douglas, because he's too busy crying. Check, check. The river is a 6. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There is a straight on board. I can confirm. I have checked. I've verified. There is a straight on board.
7, 8, 9. Let me do the math on this.
Please check to showdown. Please, no one have a 10. The audience deserves some entertainment. No. A bet and a fold, and that will bring this level to a close. We are going to go on a 20-minute break. The players will do the same, and when we come back with 23 remaining from the 366 who started in this tournament, the blinds will be 5,000, 10,000 with a 1,000 ante. James Salmon came into play as chip leader. He still has the chip lead. More action coming up after the break here in Panama. This is the PokerStars Championship. You're watching our live coverage from the Sortis Hotel Spa and Casino.